Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. My name is Susan Gordon, and I'm one of the specialists with the Early Childhood Department of Duval County Schools. I'm here to talk to you today about some engaging strategies that you can do at home with your preschooler. My colleague, Canty, is joining me.
Hi. And I will be going over the math portion of activities you can do at home with your kiddos and making math fun.
We're going to click over to the PowerPoint. Okay, welcome to Strategies for Engaging Preschool Students in Literacy and Math at Home. Why is it important to read with your preschooler? Well, first, it familiarizes your child with sounds, words, and language. It cultivates imagination. It creates a bond between you and your child. It encourages a love of reading, and it establishes a good habit. Okay, let's talk about why it's important to read with your preschooler. Reed Lyon, a PhD at the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development in Bethesda, Maryland, states that when parents and caregivers interact verbally with children, they learn a great deal more than children who don't get that interaction. They have more improved logic skills, they have lower stress levels, and their brains actually are quicker to be rewired for the development of language. Let's set the stage. How do you want to set the stage for your story time? Before you start, ask your child some questions about the book. Look at the cover, talk about the author and the illustrator of the book. The author is the one who wrote the story, and the illustrator is the person who drew the pictures. What do you think the story is about? That's a good general question to get your child kind of hooked in. Ask something like, who might be in this story? And you can ask, what do you think will happen next? While you're reading the story, there's some things to keep your child engaged. You want to vary the pace of your reading. Sometimes you want to read loud, and sometimes you want to read real soft because it will get them more drawn into what's happening. Encourage your child to use their finger to trace the words and follow along as you read so that they can learn that we read and write from left to right. Let your child turn the page by themselves. It's important for children to learn to turn pages carefully so they don't rip books. It's actually an important skill. Ask your child some questions about the story. For example, what do you think will happen next? Why do you think the baby is happy? Who has the ball? So those questions of what, why, who, how, those are great questions. And what you want from them is a sentence, if possible, for an answer, not a yes or no. Also, it's really fun if you chant or you sing phrases together. Sometimes books are really repetitive. Like if you were going to read Brown Bear, you can even turn it into a little song. Okay, looking at letters, words, and punctuation. After you've read a book the first time, maybe the second time you read it, you're going to want to take time to dive in and look at the letters, words, and punctuation. Point out the different letters and the words. You might point out uppercase, lowercase, or capital. You might want to look at punctuation points. Punctuation. So you look at exclamation marks and question marks, and you can show your child how you're going to read it differently if it has a question or an exclamation. When you see words printed in bold or large font, you say those loudly. Explain that to your child, that that's part of reading the book. Ask questions about the names of the letters and the sounds. And you can play fun games like find the letters, and especially work on those letters that are in your child's name. General tips for budding readers. It's good to have a routine. Try to share at least one book every day. A lot of people do that as a bedtime routine because it helps your child settle down. And it's at least one book. So they might have a favorite that you have to read every night, and then maybe you pick another one. So it's okay to read 2 or 3. You just want to make sure you read at least one a day. Turn off the TV or the radio so that you and your child can focus on the time together. Hold your child close on your lap while you read and let them see your face sometimes and let them see the book. Make sure they can see the words and the pictures. Try funny sounds. It's fun when you're reading about a farm to use those farm animal sounds and have your child reproduce those sounds. Involve your child by encouraging them to talk about the pictures. Let your child choose the books and be prepared to read their favorite book over and over and over. It's perfectly fine to read a book over and over again. It actually helps them become better readers and to use language to be able to retell stories. So what kind of book did you read with your preschool? There's different categories of books. The first book that you see the picture says ABC. There are books that are about ABC, letters, shapes, size, and counting books. Those are all super helpful. Then there's a group of books that have rhyme, rhythm, and repetition. Those are really fun books. And then you can also pick books about families and friends or going to school, or if you have a special thing coming up, like you're going to the circus, you might find a book about the circus. So your preschooler is going to enjoy all types of these books.
And now I am going to talk to you about making math fun at home. This is a fact. Nearly every profession uses some form of math to perform their duties. It says nearly every profession, but I cannot think of one profession that does not use some kind of math. For example, nurses, engineers, bank tellers, pharmacists, politicians, farmers, teachers, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Whether it's old school cards or game boards or board games, a puzzle or something more high tech, many kids are drawn to hands-on activities, especially when there's some element of competition with parents or siblings. Everybody likes to win. Everybody likes to win. And it's hard for us, some of us, to give up when we're not winning. These are pictures of different things that you can try or different activities. You see the guy that's the little kid that's playing chess. He's actually, that's maybe like two people, and he's thinking. He's using his own logic skills to see what move he's going to make. Then you have your outdoor activities like hopscotch, and then you have the whole family that can be engaged in things such as Scrabble, Monopoly. Monopoly is a really, really fun and exciting game to play, and it teaches math all the way around. Number two, put screens to work. We all know kids like the devices. It doesn't matter what age, and not even kids, just the adults, period. We're drawn into that device world. There are tons of apps and games that help reinforce and teach math concepts, such as Mathville, Dreambox, IXL, for practicing math skills. And we're in the world of Google now. You can Google all kinds of activities and apps to help practice math skills and math games and fun things to do using math. Number three, kids are turned off when they don't have a purpose for what they're learning. You got to make it exciting. You got to make it fun. It is important to constantly show them how math is useful in real life. Involve them in activities such as cooking, baking, telling time, checking temperature, and using money. Little ones can sort coins. Older ones can help estimate the grocery bill while shopping. If you're noticing the PowerPoint, just as Susan said, use bold words, highlight words, or things that you want them to focus on. So I did put a few of the math terminologies and concepts into bold so that you can focus on those things. And we have pictures of activities that can be used for math in everyday living. Everybody likes pizza. Okay, so whether you're making your pizza at home or you ordering in or out, you can do your fractions with pizza. That's a good way to teach fractions. Baking or cooking, you're using recipes. Let the kid measure. Get your measuring spoons out, get your measuring cups out. Let the kid help you. Some of those recipes may not turn out so great, but it's fun making them together. And look at the little guy at the bottom. I mean, that's the world in which we live now, taking temperature and explaining the difference between the high temperature, the low temperature, and different scales, the Celsius and Fahrenheit. And counting money is always a fun thing for kids to do. Most kids have the little piggy banks. Empty the piggy banks, have them sort the coins, have them count the coins if they've reached that level, and then measuring things. Use a yardstick, a ruler, or non substandard measure. Get um, a sock and measure the length of the bed. Use some non-standard measuring items. And four, watch your words. Avoid the mini me syndrome. Parents may try to be helpful by saying, "Oh, I was never good at math, so you got it naturally." Or you may say, "You take after me. I love reading, but I hate math." But instead, encourage your child to embrace challenging things to do to help them strengthen and grow in their brain into some things that they may feel a little leery about. So avoid that mini me syndrome. In fact, I kind of don't want to say this, but tell them that you were good at math too. If you want to use that the mini me syndrome, spin it in a positive direction. Number five, access your resources. If you're grocery shopping, have your child to make transactions no matter what form of payment you're using. If you're using cash, if you're using your debit card, or if you're writing a check, have your child to make the transactions for you. Of course, you're standing right there. Allow your child to make bank transactions. Consider opening an account for your child so that he or she can monitor the account. And to open up a child's bank account costs you very, very little, or if nothing. And everything can be done online right now. And six, connect math and language. So if your avid reader is a reluctant mathematician, literature may provide some inspiration. Greg Tang books are very popular, and there are picture books and nonfiction texts to support many different math concepts. Again, use your friend Google and find those books that will bring in your math concepts or things that you're talking about. Think about everything you do during the day. You can find ways to use math. If you're riding down the street, stop sign, talk about the shape of the stop sign. Introduce as many vocabulary words as you can. Talk about the red light, green light, yellow light. What is it? Red, yellow, green. And then talk about patterns in that. And then that's even a good way to teach colors. All right. And here are some books that actually bring in different math concepts. And look at that, the one in the middle, the Hershey's Milk Chocolate Fraction Book. So, of course, what are you going to do? You're going to run out and buy a Hershey's bar. And you're going to practice fractions in that book. But now it's just more than that. Our favorite, if you noticed, it was on the PowerPoint earlier, is Pete the Cat. We do a lot of things with Pete the Cat with our preschool babies. Chicka Chicka Boom Boom is another popular one. So, and if you get stuck, we're always here to assist you. More math books, story books, and kids love them because they're not just teaching math, it's a story in the book. So remember, we talked about your avid reader, maybe a reluctant mathematician, where here's your chance to merge the two. Math is fun. Ready, set, count. Our director is Sonia McSwain. District specialist, you just met me, Sheila Canty. You also met Susan Gordon. And we have two other wonderful ladies that work with us, which is Latoya Keys and Sarah Wade. And we look forward to offering you more workshops.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was a lot of fun sharing some ideas with you. Have fun, have fun. That's the most important thing to help kids learn. Establish a routine and have fun with them.